Assalamu alaikum students. Hope that you would be fine. And today we are going to start with our course in classical poetry from BS English second semester. The course mainly comprises of two poets. First is John Milton and second poet is Alexander Pope. Pertaining to the first poet, that is John Milton, in we will study his Paradise Lost in detail. Paradise Lost is the most famous work by the poet John Milton. It comprises of 10 books and is considered to be the second most grand literary work after Shakespeare. Today we are going to start with lecture 1 from the classical poetry and John Milton. In the first lecture, I would like to redefine classical poetry, the term classicus and classical poetry, and after that we would have a brief introduction about the life of John Milton as a poet, and in the second part of the lecture we would discuss about his important works and his that includes his poetry and prose work. So let us start. First, I have written here the lecture outcomes, that are we would be able to define the term the classicus, we would be able to know about the poet, the genre of poetry that he wrote, the classical poetry and its triads. This lecture would help you in describing Milton as a poet. So we start with the lecture, the term classicus and then classical literature. John Milton. Classical. First, I would like to define the term classical. What is classical? The term is derived from a Greek word, classicus. Classicus is the word that is a term that is used, taken from the Greek word. Classicus means the thing of first rank, the thing that is very excellent, the most important. In the second point I have written classical, something that is of first rank or excellent. So in excellence, something that is very excellent, something that is of first rank would be described as classical. And classical is a sort of literature, sort of thing that is imitated or that is copied by different ways. Now we come to classical literature. What is classical literature? Third point is classical literature. Greek and Roman ancient literature. It includes English literature that has a resemblance with those forms of literature. So when we say Greek classical literature, usually we have in our mind the old Greek literature like Homer's Iliad, Odyssey, and Roman literature, Virgil's Aeneid, Seneca's tragedies, and these forms of literature. Then comes the literature of English literature that is written on those basic forms, those basic principles. So the Greek classical literature is that kind of literature. What is classical poetry? Now we come to the term classical poetry. Classical poetry in English covers poetry from medieval era to Augustan era. As in the previous of your previous in your previous course, you have studied the poetry of Chaucer, poetry of Thomas Wyatt, perhaps Spenser, and I think John Donne. So Chaucer belongs to medieval era. Dante, Boccaccio, Petrarch, these are the people, Langland, Wycliffe, these are the people that pertain to the era of medieval England, medieval ages. Augustan era comes to the 17th century. It includes the poets like John Dryden, Jonathan Swift, uh, Alexander Pope. So, from the medieval ages to the era of Augustan age, all the literature, all the poetry that pertain to this era is known as classical poetry, because this poetry is the basis that has the basis in forming the rules and doctrines that are being followed, that were being followed by the uh, late comers in the poetry or in the modern era. Second poet is, I have mentioned the name of the poets, prominent poets. Classical poetry comprises of Chaucer's, Petrarch's, Dante's, Wyatt's, Spenser's, Milton's, Dryden's, etc. John Milton is also known as a classical poet because it pertains to the era that is in between the Middle Ages and Augustan age. John Milton is renowned for his famous religious poem, that is Paradise Lost. He was born in 1608 and died in 1674. And in the literature, in English literature, he is a very high status. He is a very honored and respected literary person of the age. And after Shakespeare, he is the most respected one and most famous one. Second point is what he is renowned for. He was an English poet, pamphleteer. He wrote pamphlets in his period, historian, and most significant author of his time. He was the person in the 17th century. He was the first one to who fought for the freedom of expression, for the freedom in religious on the religious side, freedom of writing. He advocated the freedom of writing also. Third point, I have written that as I have mentioned earlier, the literary person of second rank after Shakespeare in the canons of literature. So this is the brief introduction about Milton. Now we will come to the biography of John Milton. John Milton's grandfather name was Richard. The name of his father was also John Milton. He was born on 8th December to John and Sarah Jeffrey and born in 1608. Second, his father was a famous scrivener and musician. Because his father was a musician and scrivener, he got the talent of hearing the music and composing the music from his uh, home. Third point is he learned from Thomas Young, a Scot Presbyterian tutor, and then got admission at St. Paul's School in London. Before getting admission to school, his father was a very well-to-do person, very rich person. He afforded the he could afford the education of his child at his home. So he hired a tutor that was a very famous literary person of the time, that is Thomas Young. And after getting education from, he got admission at St. Paul's School in London. There he studied in Latin and Greek. And it is said that from very early age he got great interest in his studies. He used to study late at night till 12 or 11 o'clock from the very beginning of his age. When he was 10 or 12 years of age, he started studied like this. Other point is written, he used to study hard till late at night. And this is the habit of studying, that he became expert in many languages at a very early age. He knew Latin and Greek very well. He knew also French and also English when he was almost 20 years of age. In 1625, he matriculated and got admission to Christ College, Cambridge. In 1629, he graduated from there. And at his college, he was a very mild-natured person, a very pious, and he was called Christ Lady, because he has a extra fair skin and beauty and sophistication of his body, and he liked that name because Virgil at the very young age also was called by the same name, so he liked that name, Christ Lady. 1629 graduated from there. He got his degree of BA from Cambridge College, and he got his master degree in 1932. Master of Arts. 1632 he did his Master of Arts. The primary aim of his education was to become a cleric on the church side, but the life experience later turned him to move on other side. At Cambridge, he was very close to Edward King, who tutored Roger Williams in exchange for lessons in Dutch. Edward King was his very close friend while he was studying at Cambridge. Roger Williams is also a very famous person of that time, and from that person he learned Dutch language. Next point is 1635. He involved himself in self-study at Hammersmith. Then, after getting his degree, he returned to his home at Hammersmith and busied himself in the self-study of books, literature, and other things. 1638, he toured to France and Italy and met many prominent persons of that time. He also met Galileo in the Italy and has very close familiarity what was going on in the foreign in the field of science, literature and arts. 1642, he married to Mary Powell, but after a month she moved to her parents and returned after a period of 3 years. 1649, in 1649 is a very from 1632 to 1649 is a very crucial time in the history of English people, because the civil war was on the peak during this period, and in 1649 Charles I, who was the King of England, was executed. He was beheaded, and Cromwell was made the ruler of the states Scotland, England and Ireland, and it was announced as Commonwealth. So the rule of Cromwell started in 1649 till his death in 1659. 1652. In 1652, Milton got blinded, and also in 1642 he married to a very young girl who was age of almost 14 or 16 years of age, and whose name was Mary Powell. In 1652 his wife died and he also got blinded, and it is after this period that he started to compose Paradise Lost, the famous poem that is a part of our syllabus. 1654. 1654 Mary died, and 1656 contracted second marriage, and after 4 years, here I have seen that the date is written wrong. 1652 Mary died was the time that Mary died, and 1656 contracted second marriage. 1658 Cromwell died, the ruler of the England died, and the rule of Puritans was ended and monarchy was restored. Charles II in 1660 became the king of the England again. 1660 monarchy's restoration and Milton's hiding. In 1660 Milton had to hide because of the serious accusations against him. He was declared for the punishment of his deed because he was very prominent supporter of Cromwell and very prominent parliamentarians. In 1663 he married Elizabeth Munchel. After 2 years of his second marriage, his second wife died, and in 1663 he married to Elizabeth Munchel, whose age was 24. It was his third wife, and in 1667 he wrote Paradise Lost. First version came, and second version came in 1674, and 1674 is also the time when he is the year when he died. 1671 Paradise Regained 4-book scheme. In 1674 Milton died of kidney failure and buried at church at St. Giles, London. So it is a very brief biography of John Milton. For details, you can check it on Wikipedia and net for more details. Now, I want to describe some important works by John Milton. When he was at Cambridge, it was the time during 1625 to 1629. He fully involved himself into his study. But his first work came when in 1629, when he graduated from the Cambridge and got his BA degree. It was an ode. It was an ode, and its name is written on the morning of Christ's nativity. The poem is about the uh, birth of Christ and the importance of that event. Second is also a kind of poem. It is an epitaph. It is an epitaph of 16 lines, and the name of this poem was On Shakespeare. It was written in 1630. When he was 23 years of age, he wrote a very important work. It was a kind of sonnet, a lyrical poem. It described his emotions, his feelings, and it was written in 1931. The third one is El Allegro. It was written in 1932, and also another poem that is known as El Penseroso. It was also written in 1932. The both poems are written in Italian. The atmosphere is rural, pastoral, but the tone or the mood of the two poems is quite different from each other. El Allegro is written in a very happy mood. It addresses the beauty, the goodness, the good nature of the poet. El Penseroso is addressed to the goddess of melancholy. It is also a pastoral poem. The purpose of writing these two poems is to give himself a balance between the goodness and sorrow and seriousness. For example, in El Penseroso, he is of the view that he addresses the goddess of melancholy. He says, he prays to goddess of melancholy that she should give him grief, sorrow, and give him seriousness in order to imagine, in order to think different things in the nature, so that his life would be a very the life of a very wise person or intelligent person. Next work is Lycidas, 1637. It is a sort of elegy written on the death of his very close friend Edward King. The atmosphere is also pastoral. Comus and arcades. These are masks. Masks were the sort of drama that were written for the entertainment, and that included dancing, that included also music, that is also included action. So, Comus was written and presented at Ludlow Castle. Arcades was also another mask that was presented on the 75th birthday of Alice Spencer. In 1652, he wrote on a sonnet on Petrarchan model. In 1667, he wrote most important work of his time, that is Paradise Lost. 10 books. It is said that he started to write this poem soon after his blindness in 1652, and he used to describe the biblical stories in the form of poetry to his daughter, and in this way the plan to write the epic poem was used, and also he uh, uh, gained the help of other people to write for himself, to write for him. Paradise Regained, it is 1671, 4 books came. Later on, it were combined with the Paradise Lost, and a second edition of Paradise Lost and Paradise Regained came in 1674 with 12 books. 10 books are of Paradise Lost and 2 books are of Paradise Regained. So the 4 books were compacted, were compiled into 2 books. Then Samson Agonistes, 1671. It was a closet drama based on Greek model. It was a drama that was based on Greek model. Prose works. So now we come to the prose works of John Milton. In 1643, he Doctrine and Discipline on Divorce. 1643. This work was written because in 1642 he was married to Mary Powell, very young girl. Uh, she only spent 1 month with his husband John Milton and did not return till 3 years. And in 1645 she again came to John Milton because she was not satisfied with John Milton, and due to the period civil war on the rise, and John Milton's views, harsh views and strictness of the John Milton uh, caused her wife to cause her wife uh, being embittered from him, and she left him, and she returned after 3 years in 1645. So during this era he wrote a book on the doctrine and discipline on divorce. He want at one time in 1643 he wanted to divorce his wife, but the laws of the country uh, did not permit him to do so. So he wrote a work, Doctrine and Discipline on Divorce. Next work is Areopagitica. Areopagitica is a book who is written on the freedom of expression. Freedom of expression, because the government was going to impose that a writer should have a license, must have a license in order to publish anything, in order to write anything. He must have a license. So against this law, he wrote a work that is known as Areopagitica, that describes the freedom of expression on his part. Tenure of Kings and Magistrates was written in 1649. It was the year when King Charles I was punished for his acts of tyranny, and in this book he has emphasized on the fact that the kings or the princes who are very cruel and tyrant, they must be punished by the people, because earlier it was believed that the kings are all in everything. They don't need to ask from any person or people for any action or any doing of theirs. So tenure of kings and magistrates emphasizes the thing that such tyrants and such people must be punished by the people. With this, our lecture on classical poetry and the biography of John Milton is completed. I hope that you would have learned many things from this lecture, and it will also provoke you to gain much more knowledge pertaining to Milton, and you can have and build your interest in the poet. So thank you. Allah Hafiz.